Let's take some time to talk about time. The time class in Ruby is exceptionally important. It's one of the most valuable classes that you'll come across. Representing hours, minutes, days, months, and years is extremely important in programming. Think of all the myriad applications that could use time. It might be a countdown timer, it might be saving information about when a record was created, or it might simply be recording somebody's birthday. We can actually break the concept of time down into two distinct types. Firstly, we have absolute time. So that is a specific clock or calendar entry. For example, now or yesterday, or a particular date. So that's, say, March 6, 1981 at 10 to 7 p.m. We also have the idea of relative times. That is, say, a year or 1 minute or 3 hours, 41 minutes and 8 seconds. This is the kind of time you would use for the duration of something. It's helpful to distinguish the difference between an absolute time and a relative time by using terms like interval or duration. In this lesson, we're only really going to be talking about absolute times. In Ruby, there are several flavors of time. There's the core library version of time, which is the built-in version of time, and that's simply called time, and it uses the time class. There are also two additional kinds of time or date in the standard library. We won't be covering these in this lesson. The most obvious thing you can do with time is get the current time. To do that, we simply call time.now. This will return an object representing our current time. A time object has multiple attributes, of course. These include day, month, year, hour, minute, and second. So when we call time.now, we can break all of these particular attributes down. There are also methods on time. For example, there's a method called Monday with a question mark on the end. This will return a true if the day is currently Monday or false otherwise. We might like to use it in this form. If time.Monday puts need coffee. So if it's Monday, we need coffee. Hey, I need coffee every day. So if I was to put time.now, I get it in this interesting format. We start with the year, then the month, then the day, and then the time itself. This last number is known as the time zone offset. I'm recording this from Sydney, Australia, so this is GMT plus 10 hours. This is the default time representation for time. And the reason it's chosen is because there are no localization ambiguity. For example, in America, times are represented with month first and then date. In other parts of the world, they're represented as date first and then the month. By using this notation, known as ISO 8601 notation, we avoid any ambiguity. But of course, our application may not want to display time using this 8601 format all the time. It's useful in many cases to be able to print our time out in a desirable format. This might be different with different countries or nationalities, or it might just be different depending on your circumstances. The formatting method in Ruby is known as strf time. You can think of this as string format time. And it takes a single string argument which contains special characters to define how it's formatted. Each element of our time uses a % symbol and then a letter. The letters indicate different elements of the time. So for example here, the capital B letter indicates the full name of the month. The lowercase d represents the date, and the capital Y indicates the year. So this time is the 16th of January 2012. You can check the Ruby documentation to see all the different letters available to the strf time method. Using the strf time method and the Ruby documentation, I'd like you to create your own time format. Write a method which returns the current time as a string in the format hour:minute. For example, 21:13 for 13 minutes past 9 p.m.